up, YouTube? This is YoNats 101 bringing something new to the channel. Anybody that has followed me for any period of time know that I've got my hands in all kinds of places. I've got all kinds of stuff that I like to do. I like to do different things to keep my mind active as I'm getting older. But what you see laid out in front of you is, it came to be because I was inspired by a channel that I come across late one night on YouTube. You know, you sit and you scroll and you come across different things. And for some reason, YouTube has figured out that I have an interest for electronics. And when I came across this channel, this gentleman had a 3-segment, he just had 3 displays, it's a counter up. And I thought, you know, that's cool. So why not build one that'll count to 1 billion? And for this thing to count to 1 billion at the speed that it's counting at will take roughly 27 years. Now, I know what you're thinking. Will the components last 27 years? It's highly unlikely that they will, but this has been designed where everything can be popped out, replaced, whatever. The power supply, the 7-segment displays, the capacitors, the 4026, all that, everything can be switched out in a moment's notice. So, you may be asking yourself, why did I build it? Well, for one, there's none on YouTube like this anywhere. I've seen different counter builds, you know, some 3 segments, some are 4 segments, but I've never seen anything this vast. And yes, there are different ways that you can go about doing this. You don't have to use all these wires if you don't want to. You can take your time and wire it with those ones that lay flat to the board. And that's fine. If that's what you want to do, great. But I kind of like this. When it's this way, you can stand back and look at every single wire and see where it goes. Because I'm planning on hanging this one on the wall. Coming New Year's Eve, I will start this thing and let it count till it can't count no more. And hopefully everything stays together for 27 years, which I highly doubt it will. But that's okay, because we can replace all these components. But the gentleman that inspired me to build this has a channel on this kind of stuff. And he had one built that was a 3-segment display. His channel is linked down below. And I'll throw some inserts of his channel to give you an idea of what he's doing. So basically, I'm just going to run through this real quickly and show you what all this stuff is. As you can see, if we start up here at the top, you can see our row of 7-segment displays. Now, you don't have to go with this size. The build that the gentleman did used the smaller LEDs, the 7-segment displays I should say, and they fit on the board perfectly. You don't have to use 2 boards like I do. Mine are so big that I had to space them over 2 separate boards on these breadboards. It's a personal preference. You can go bigger or you can go smaller. It's whatever you want to do. So we have 10 of those. That'll get us well to 1 billion. And below that, you can see all of our capacitors that run through our. Each 7-segment display is not powered, but has 7 capacitors that run along the course of the boards for each display. And those are fed to wires to the, as you can see, all the wires coming from the capacitors go up to their displays. And down below our capacitors, our wires go down to the 4026 chips that you might be able to see down in there, I'm not sure. But the 4026 chip is responsible for decoding and making the displays display whatever number it is that needs to be up at that given time. And you see there's a bunch of wires here. There's a bunch of wiring that goes into this. And over here off to the side, I have a pulse. It's like a pulse clock. It's got a 555 chip in it, and all it does is send the pulse out to the first 4026, and once the 4026 gets up to 9, it feeds the pulse over to this display. Then when this display goes past 9, it feeds a pulse to this display, so on, so on, so on. And it just cascades down and it will continue to count. But this one over here, it gets every single pulse. Okay, it's not too complicated. It just takes a little bit of time. It takes a whole lot of wiring. I estimated that there's 257 wires on here, I guess, somewhere around in there. I used every wire that I bought. Wasn't sure that I was going to have enough, but thank God I did. And over here you can see a power supply. This is a 5 volt, 60 watt, 12 amp power supply, which is way overkill for this because we're only feeding 5 volts into this whole entire array of stuff here. But I would suggest if anybody has a passion for this kind of thing, go ahead, slap one of these together, build it as big as you want to, and see what happens. Mine can be added onto. If I wanted to, I could put another row above this. Just like this, I could build a whole nother setup like this and just keep going and going and going, and I could tie them all together in a big cascade, and I can count to whatever number I wanted to count to. If I wanted to count to a Google, so be it. I would have to have 10 more of these. A Google is one with 100 zeros behind it. So there's 10 here, 10 more rows. That would give us a bunch of numbers, which it would never ever be possible to count that far. The human race would go extinct before that even happened. This, I wanted to do it on a smaller scale, so I settled with the number 1 billion. 1 billion is a big number, and it's going to take a long time to get there. Like I said, this is going to take a little over 27 years at the pace that it's counting. I could speed it up and get it to go much faster. I could get it done in 6 years. If I went 4 times the speed, yeah, maybe 6 years. It's hard to say. But I think I'm going to leave it at this pace. I'm not going to do anything else to the wiring. I'm just going to leave everything as it is. If anything, I may cover this with a glass case to keep the dust and whatnot off of it. Cats. Could you imagine what kind of mess you'd have if you got in here with a cat? Yeah, it would definitely make for a bad day. But anyways, check this video clip out real quick, and he'll show you the diagram of what's going on.
Pin number 2 and 8 both are connected to the ground, and pin number 3 and 16 both are connected to the plus 5 volt. The display has 7 pins A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So pin number A should be connected to the pin number 10, B should be connected to the pin number 12, C should be connected to the pin number 13, D should be connected to the pin number 9, E should be connected to the pin number 11, F should be connected to the pin number 6, and G should be connected to the pin number 7 of the IC. And these pins are connected through a resistor. The value of the resistor is 220 ohms. Now pin number 5 of first IC is connected to the pin number 1 of second IC. Pin number 5 of second IC is connected to the pin number 1 of third IC. If you need more displays, then pin number 5 of third IC should be connected to the pin number 1 of fourth IC. Now connect all the pin number 15 together, and then these pins are connected to the ground through 10 kilo ohm resistor.
Okay, so now you see how it's wired up. It's pretty simple. If you know anything about electronics, you know what you're looking at. And if you don't know anything about electronics and you want to build one, all you have to do is follow this video to the letter. It's exactly what I done. I followed his 3 segments that he did here and just added to it. That's all I done. But this side over here, as you can see, it's a smaller breadboard. I had to get creative on how to get all my components on there, but I followed the same principle. Now in the next video clip I'm going to show you from his channel is how he hooks this up. I may let it run through its entirety. I don't know yet. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to piece the end of this together. I may show you just different things that he does in little clips. Then if you want to build something like this, all you have to do is follow how he built his first 3 sections.
First resistor is connected to the pin A, second resistor is connected to the pin B, third one is connected to the C, fourth one is connected to the D, fifth one is connected to the E, sixth one is connected to the pin F, and seventh resistor is connected to the pin G. So like this we have to connect them all.
I didn't want to film this one because it took a long time to put these wires in here, and I didn't like I said, I just didn't want to do it because he's done all the hard work of showing you how to build it on a smaller scale that you can apply to any size that you want. But guys, we're going to have this thing counting to 1 billion. We'll probably record milestones. The video, sorry about that. But like I said, we'll record milestones. We'll do it when it gets to a month, 6 months, a year, whatever it takes. But that's it. That's all I'm going to do with this video. I'm going to leave a parts link in the description with all the links to the parts that I use. Like I said, I come in just under $100. I think it was $99.10 or something like that. To me, it's money well spent. It's something that I enjoy, and I would suggest you build something like this if you love electronics, because it's a really good challenge, and when you're done, you can hang it up on the wall if that's what you want to do. That's what I'm going to do with mine. And again, guys, I appreciate the time. Thanks for watching. We'll see ya.